aka Wamastai sign in, and I just wanted to go over 10 reasons Pirate Warrior is so good. As I saw a few threads about people wondering, why is this taking over so fast? And I'm going to explain. A big part of it is Patches the Pirate. Patches is a 1 mana 1/1 with charge, but the main thing about him is that he is summoned from your deck whenever you play a pirate, which is your entire deck. So most of the time, turn 1, you play another pirate, and Patches comes out of your deck. And so basically it's not just that you get another minion on the board, it's also that it's a free card draw in play, no matter what is in your opening hand. So in a way, it's like it's improving your deck efficiency by 3%. So you are 3% more likely to draw the other cards that you need later in the game to win. So uh, normally you start with 3 cards in your hand and your deck is 27 cards. In a way, it's like you are starting with an extra card just from the beginning of the game. That's huge. Um, the other main things about Patches is that since it's another pirate, it has factional synergy with anything else that helps pirates, and so that's really important for the Bloodsail Cultist and the South Sea Captain. It's taking aggression off your other pirate minions, and it makes it more likely that in turn 3 you're going to already have a pirate on the board, so you can play your Bloodsail Cultist, and I'm going to come back to that point later on. And also it accelerates the game, which, pirates as a faction have always been a very aggressive archetype. They are aggro, and they want to win the game fast, generally by turn 8 at the latest. And so he is helping you do that even faster, so he's perfect for this deck type. The second reason that this deck type is so good is because it's pretty cheap to craft. So it can be expensive if you want it to be expensive. If you want to have, like, the pirate deck to end all pirate decks. And so some people run Hobart, some people run Leroy, and I think most people run Finley. And Finley is good. These are all good cards, maybe less so Hobart, that's more debatable. But really, it's Patches is the only legendary in this deck that you really, really need. Leroy is certainly good in the deck as a finisher, but you don't absolutely need any of these 3 cards, right? And so once you get past these legendaries, a lot of decks don't even run an epic, right? You're just looking at 1 legendary and a bunch of rares, and half or about a third of the deck is already in the basic set, so you're already going to have it no matter what. So you're looking at 19 rares maybe, or not even 19 rares, like 19 rares and commons, and 1 legendary. So it's a pretty accessible deck type that you're not gonna feel like you're overly investing in. The third reason this deck is so good is that it has an insane win rate, especially in the lower ranks. So this is some games I did today. Out of 10 games, I was winning 9 out of 10 games. This is at rank 15. You can see the ranks at the beginning. I started at rank 16, went to 15, went to 14, went to 13, and then I lost 1 game at 12. So it's in that low win rate. It's in the lower tiers where it really shines. I'm thinking that it's going to drop down to like a 55 or 60% win rate in the once you hit rank 5 or so, would be my guess. I haven't done it quite yet, but I think it's, in the lower tiers, it's just off the charts. The games are also fast, so this is actually, the same image I was showing you from games today. But if you look at the duration, 4-minute game, 5-minute game, 4-minute game, 4-minute game, 3-minute game, 4-minute game, 5-minute game, 4-minute game, your high end is an 8-minute game. This is compared to, if you're going like a Reno Kazakis deck, you might be looking at 18-minute games every now and then. 18-minute games, you could play 1 Reno Kazakis game in ranked, and in the same time that you could have 4 pirate game wins, right? That's a pretty significant difference. Fifth point is that Face is the place, right? The deck is straightforward. So a lot of people are like, well, that means it's easy and it requires no thought. And that's kind of true. But it's not just the case. You do want to make a few efficient trades, and you also want to anticipate what the opponent is going to do, right? So especially if you're running something with factional synergy like South Sea Captain, then you have to decide, okay, how am I going to protect this card? Not every deck runs South Sea Captain. So trying to anticipate your opponent's moves will be, important some of the time, but the core idea of the deck is that you just go straight for the face and destroy anything in the way and try to maximize your damage for doing that. So it's kind of an easy deck to play, which means it's more accessible, especially if you're a newer player. And something that I've been talking about a lot is just reason number 6 is just consistency, especially in the opening hand, right? So, there's N'Zoth's First Mate, Upgrade, Fiery War Axe, and Arcanite Reaper. And so you don't want Upgrade or Arcanite Reaper in your opening hand, but if you have Upgrade, that's still going to activate the synergy for Bloodsail Buccaneer and South Sea Deckhand, right? So you can get by with it, right? So long as you have N'Zoth's First Mate, Fiery War Axe, or Upgrade, any of those 3 cards in your opening hand, you're going to be activating South Sea Deckhands, you're going to be activating Small-Time Buccaneers, and you're also very likely to have these really important 1 mana pirate minions that are then going to be pulling in Patches the Pirate, right? So the deck is just very consistent in how it plays, even more so than a aggro or mid-range shaman, that you're going to be like, okay, well, did I pull my Spirit Claws this game? Am I going to be able to activate my Spirit Claws with that spell damage, which maybe I only have a few spell damage cards in my deck? And so just getting a very, very consistent early game means that you're going to be able to get into the groove of playing the deck very, very easily. Another big thing to consider here is that Pirate Warrior will last, right? So I already talked about the low crafting cost of the entire deck. But it's not just that. It's also that every card you craft for it practically will be with you for the next year, right? At least. Most decks run Argent Horse Rider, 1 or 2 copies, and that's a Grand Tournament card. A lot of decks are running Finley. Finley is good, but neither of these cards are truly essential to the deck. And they're the only ones that are going away when we phase out the Grand Tournament, League of Explorers, and Black Route Mountain. And there's no Black Route Mountain cards in this at all, so if you don't have that adventure, this is a great deck for you. I already talked about, some of the other cards, especially our legendary. But Small-Time Buccaneer is a really big deal for this deck. It's almost always going to activate that ability for the +2 attack, which means it's almost always going to be a 1 mana 3/2, right? That is pretty much the best stat line you can get for a 1-drop on turn 2, short of the Druid spell buffed Panther, right? And even then, you can probably kill a Druid spell buffed Panther. And it's certainly going to be killing Tunnel Trogs or a lot of or your cleric, your priest clerics, right? Your 1/3 clerics. So it's gonna clear anything off the board that you would oftentimes be a really big, cumbersome problem before Small-Time Buccaneer was released. And just overall more early game pirates means that you're just going to be activating Bloodsail Cultist pretty much every time whenever you want, right? You don't need to mess around too much with getting your Bloodsail Cultist activated. When a lot of the, before this, it was like, how do I get my Bloodsail Cultist to activate when I want the synergy of the Bloodsail Cultist, but to get that synergy, I need to have Bloodsail Raider down, and so you would never be able to activate Bloodsail Raider off the Bloodsail Cultist's bigger weapon, right? So now, a lot of the time, you can play Bloodsail Cultist on turn 3, get that upgraded weapon, and then you end up playing Bloodsail Raider the next turn. It's bigger and badder pirate synergy than ever before. So all the pirates that were already in the game are now much better because of these other early game pirates, just for being pirates and being playable good cards, especially when you are getting a free one on the board. But, you know, a big part of it is just because pirates, right? Pirates are fun to play. It's a great archetype. Nothing is more satisfying than looking at all these dragons on the board and just being able to say, nope, I'm pirates. And I just smorked you in the face. GG's. So I hope this has indicated why this archetype is going to be so popular, not just now, but probably for the next year. People are going to get sick of this deck, and they're going to get sick of this deck really fast, but it's not going away. I will tell you now. Alright, if you like this video, I hope you'll think about subscribing. But in any case, have a great day, and I will see you in the future.